Hey there, Futurogenics family. Ever fancied hopping into a tube and getting zoomed from LA to Tokyo in less than a couple of hours? No, this isn't the plot of a retro sci-fi movie. Welcome to the audacious dream of the underwater Hyperloop. Picture this. Cities brimming with skyscrapers, roads swarmed with cars, and skies filled with buzzing drones. And in the midst of this urban bustle, a futuristic capsule silently submerges beneath the waves, transporting passengers at speeds previously reserved for jets high up in the stratosphere. This isn't a James Cameron movie set. It's a glimpse into a tantalizingly possible future of commuting. You might have heard of the Hyperloop, a transport system using capsules or pods that whiz through a vacuum tube at blazing speeds. It's like the pneumatic tubes banks used to pass around checks, but on a giant, human-carrying scale. Now imagine taking this concept and diving deep underwater with it. Why underwater, you ask? Well, beneath those vast oceans and deep blue seas lie vast swathes of untouched territory, isolated from temperamental weather, offering straight paths between continents. Combine that with the absence of air in those tubes, and you've got yourself a setting where these pods can move like, well, bullets underwater. But hey, while it's cool to daydream about being inside a fast-moving capsule, while sharks and whales swim around, there's a whirlpool of science that makes this concept a potential reality. The key lies in creating a near-perfect vacuum inside these submerged tubes. No air equals no air resistance. And when there's no pesky friction or drag to slow things down, you're free to zoom about at will. All right. It sounds super cool, you might say, but how's it all going to work? Here's where things get even more mind-bending. Remember how we felt the jitters when taking the plunge at the deep end of the pool? That's due to the water pressure. Now magnify that pressure by placing a structure miles deep into the ocean. The kind of engineering required to keep everything intact and safe is, to put it simply, next level. We're talking materials that haven't even been mainstreamed yet. Wait, why are we even considering this when we have airplanes? Speed, my dear listener, speed. Theoretically, the underwater Hyperloop promises to make transcontinental travel faster than a New York minute. Speaking of speed, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more futuristic dives like this one. All right, back to our aquatic adventure. While it all sounds promising, let's not dive headfirst just yet. Like all mega projects, there's a tidal wave of challenges awaiting, from ecological concerns to safety drills for deep-sea evacuations. After all, we wouldn't want our fast and furious tube to turn into the next Atlantis, right? And as we're about to submerge into deeper detail, let's take a moment to appreciate the brains and brawn working behind this watery dream. There are companies out there with their armies of engineers, ecologists and visionaries tirelessly testing, tweaking and toiling to bring the underwater Hyperloop from the realms of imagination to the corridors of reality. Ready to delve deeper? Hold your breath, not. Really, as we're about to dive into the abyss of innovation in our next segment. Rolling back the waves, let's talk science, because who doesn't love a bit of brainy banter, especially when it's about speeding pods and deep blue seas? First off, for those of you who flinched during physics classes, hey, no judgment. Let's serve up a bite-sized refresher. The principle behind the Hyperloop's crazy fast speed is minimizing friction. Above land, that means removing air from the tubes, making it a vacuous highway for our pods. Underwater, we've got the added bonus of water providing additional insulation against external pressures and sounds. Think of it like sliding on an ice rink, but under the sea. And no, Sebastian the Crab isn't singing in the background, though that would be a catchy bonus. But let's pump the brakes for a second. Or would that be the flippers? Remember that thing about immense water pressure? Picture the weight of an elephant. Then imagine thousands of them pile up, pressing down. That's the kind of pressure these tubes will face deep down, building something sturdy enough to withstand that without going pop. It's a challenge that would make even the most seasoned engineer break into a cold sweat. Titanium alloys, composite materials, and maybe even stuff they use in space rockets would be on the shopping list. Talk about an expensive grocery run. Another hurdle. Mother Nature herself. From curious marine life that might just decide to give our tubes a little nibble to seismic events that could shake things up, the Hyperloop's got its work cut out. Not to mention, laying down these tubes would be like building an intercontinental bridge, but underwater. Anyone got Aquaman's number? For those who might be thinking, hey, wouldn't this disrupt our ocean buddies' homes? That's a big consideration. We've got to be eco-smart about this. Protecting coral reefs, ensuring marine migration routes are undisturbed, and preserving the delicate balance of our oceans is paramount. No point in being fast if we're also furious with the environmental aftermath. But don't get too waterlogged with these challenges. Remember, every massive innovation from the first airplane to landing rovers on Mars seemed bananas at first. Yet here we are, dreaming big and reaching for the impossible. Speaking of reaching out, if you're vibing with this deep sea knowledge fest, don't forget to drop a comment below on your thoughts. Would you take a ride in the underwater Hyperloop? And while you're at it, ring that notification bell so you won't miss our next dive into the future. As we steer into the depths of engineering marvels and ecological considerations, there's one more layer to unpeel. The company's making waves in the race to build the first underwater Hyperloop. Strap in, or maybe strap on some flippers, as we plunge into the real-world attempts to make this sci-fi fantasy a reality. All right, water lovers and speed enthusiasts, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Who's really putting their money where their mouth is, or should I say their tick under the waves? There's no shortage of dreamers in the tech world, but translating those dreams into tangible reality, now that's the magic sauce. A few daring companies are attempting just that with the underwater Hyperloop. Leading the pack, none other than the folks who first popularized the Hyperloop concept, Elon Musk's team. Musk, never one to shy away from the audacious, believes that combining SpaceX engineering prowess with the Hyperloop's principles can conquer the ocean's abyss. That they aren't the only fish in this vast sea. Several startups backed by industry giants and venture capitalists are eager to claim their slice of the pie. Some focus on the materials, innovating with ultra-strong yet lightweight composites that can bear the weight of the deep. Others look to the propulsion methods, experimenting with magnetic fields stronger than your average fridge magnet, ensuring these pods zip through the tubes like dolphins on a mission. One enticing proposal even suggests using the ocean's currents to aid propulsion, harnessing Mother Nature's power. Imagine part of your journey's speed comes courtesy of the Gulf Stream or the Kuroshio, riding the waves, quite literally. Still, it's not all smooth sailing. Sorry, couldn't resist. Apart from the mind-boggling tech, there's the maze of international waters, maritime laws, and potential pirate encounters. And not the fun Jack Sparrow kind. How does one stake a claim to a route? And how do you even begin to police such an infrastructure? The dream of the underwater Hyperloop is tantalizingly close, yet teeming with challenges. As we ride the current wave of innovation, one can't help but wonder. Will we be booking tickets for undersea journeys in the next decade? Or is this a vision that'll take a bit longer to materialize? Time will tell. But one thing's for certain, if and when the underwater Hyperloop becomes a reality, the world of transportation will be irrevocably transformed. It's the type of change that makes history books that future generations will marvel at. Before we cap off this deep dive, hit that like button if you've enjoyed this underwater roller coaster of information. Share your thoughts below, and if you're new here, subscribe to keep up with our journey into tomorrow, and of course that notification bell, give it a tap so you're first in line when our next futuristic tale drops. Dive safe, and until our next adventure.